Good evening, all. ଆପଣମାନେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଜ୍ୟୋତ୍ସ୍ନା ରାଣୀ, ମମତା, ସ୍ତୁତି, ଲିପ୍ସିତା, ଆପଣ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ଟ କରିପାରିବେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯେଉଁଟା ପଚାରିବା କଥା ବି ପଚାରି ପାରିବେ। ମୁଁ ପଢ଼େଇ ସାରିଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଟାଇମ୍ ଦେବି। ଆପଣ ଯାହା ପଚାରିବାର ଅଛି ପଚାରିବେ। ଆପଣମାନେ ସାଇଲେଣ୍ଟ ରହିଲେ ମୋତେ ଲାଗିବ ଯେ ୱାନ୍ ୱେ ଟ୍ରାଞ୍ଜାକ୍ସନ୍ ହେଉଛି। ଓକେ, ଓକେ, ଇଜ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଅଡିବୁଲ୍?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, our topic of discussion is higher education, isn't it? So, as we know that higher education is the highest form of education, we can say, and it includes university education as well as college education. So, in this paper, we are going to cover the chapters like your aims of higher education, why higher education is there, what are the aims, and how higher education is related to society, how it benefits the society, and another point is there how higher education, what is the history behind it. So these things we are going to discuss. In the previous class, Ajay sir has taken the class and he has discussed some fundamentals of higher education. So I will only recap the first part, then we will proceed. So in this context, when we are going to discuss about the aims of higher education, before going to this, we should know what is the meaning and significance of education. Then we will discuss the changing role and functions of higher education through the history of education. We will look into the history. So a little bit we will discuss about the meaning and significance of education. Okay. So I will share my PPT. Give me just a minute. Okay, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but I cannot control it. What happened to this? Okay, now it is visible. Okay, so as Rabindranath Tagore quoted that education means enabling the mind to find out that ultimate truth which emancipates us from the bondage of dust and gives us the wealth of not things but of inner light, not of power but of love, making the truth and even giving expression to it. This was the definition given by Aaron Tagore that we are familiar with. Enable the mind to find out what is the ultimate truth. Actually, what was the aim of education? If we will look to the past, then we will find this that mind was given the importance. So mind is there, which is able to find out the ultimate truth. That was the aim of education, according to Aaron Tagore. Similarly, another quote is there from Jawaharlal Nehru. So, according to him, a university stands for humanism, for tolerance, for reasons, for the adventure of ideas, and for the search of truth. It stands for the onward march of the human race towards ever higher objective. If the universities discharge their duties adequately, then it will within the nation and the people. So in this context, he mentioned about the university. So why the universities are there? University stands for humanism, tolerance, and for adventure of ideas and search for truth. That means it indirectly or directly implies towards the research, search for knowledge. Then these are the also in the context of education from a research study in Europe, students' view on purpose of higher education. This is only the purpose of higher education is mentioned here, but in general, if we will see look into the past, then development and perfection of the individual was one of the broader aim of education in the past, and in the ancient India also, uh, it was the aim that attainment of moksha. Okay, attainment of moksha was the highest aim at that time. It was considered like this, and in the Upanishad time, it aimed in the during Upanishad time. It aimed at preparing individuals for such a life where they will attain moksha. They will search for the truth. They will attain the truth. That was the aim. So gradually it changed, and our first education commission, as we know, that University Education Commission in independent India at that time in 1949. So higher education, in this commission the higher education was given much more emphasis. So we will discuss about the historical perspective of higher education first. What is the history behind it? Then higher education and society, its legacy, how it will evolve, and development of higher education, how higher education is developing till now. These were the these will be our point of discussion. Okay. So if we will say first of all, we can say that education and higher education, then we can find that in the broadest term, the act or experience that has formative effect on mind, character, or physical ability of an individual can be called as educational. This is a generalized form, we can say the broadest sense. Experience that has formative effect. ଯାହାର formative effect ଅଛି କାହା ଉପରେ ନା ମାଇଣ୍ଡ ଉପରେ ଯାହାର ଫର୍ମେଟିଭ ଇଫେକ୍ଟ ଅଛି ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଏଜୁକେସନାଲ ସୋ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ଦ ଫେମସ୍ ଅଥର ମେକ୍ସିମ୍ ଗର୍କି ହ୍ୱାଟ ହି ହେଜ୍ ରିଟେନ୍ ଇନ୍ ହିଜ୍ ଅଟୋବାୟୋଗ୍ରାଫିକାଲ ବୁକ୍ he described there that situation family and social relationship are important for a individual in the education process. Who are important? The people, the situation, the family, and the social relationship. And the individual learn much more, learn a lot of things about life from all these four things. And he has also mentioned in a book, My Universities. He has written a book, My Universities, and he has mentioned there that the school contributes only a limited share in education of children. But these four, what he has experienced in his life, that the people, situation, family, and social relationship, they are actually the things which help an individual to learn more or to make an individual educated, and school contributes very less amount according to Maxim Gorky. So education actually, why there is education, the education transmits the cultural heritage, accumulate the values, the knowledge, skills, everything to the individual. But if we will also see that these things are also passed to the individual from generation to generation through these four things: people, situation, family, and social relationship. They play an important role. They also help in passing these things: cultural heritage, knowledge, values, skills, everything to the next generation. Okay. So that's why here it is written that three aspects of higher education in recent origin that we will move towards this after 1986 policy. What is the structure? Then we will discuss. But three aspects of higher education is greater specialization, formalization, and institutionalized system of education, research, and creation of knowledge. These are the three aspects, three main aspects of higher education institution. It is said here. Then what is about higher education? What is the historical perspective? We will move forward. What is the historical perspective? So, which salient feature of ancient education system of India made it globally renowned? This is a question for you. It was said here, why is education at that time considered a way of life? So, before going to the historical perspective, I mean, which salient features of ancient education made India globally renowned? I mean, NEP 2020 যদি আপনারা পড়িଥିবে দেখিবে যে what is the aim of education? What is the aim of higher education? तो हायर एजुकेशन रो एम रे से मेनली एम्फासिस काहा को देइछि वर्तमान एनडीपी 2020 अपन माने पढिचंती जदि पढिचंती से मेनली कहउछि जे नॉलेज क्रिएशन एंड इनोवेशन त आमे कहउछु बे इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम सो फ्रॉम वेयर we will bring all these things from Indian knowledge system ସେଥିପାଇଁ कहउछि what are the salient features of ancient education system रे कोन थिला जोटा कि इंडिया को ग्लोबली रिनाउंड करथिला से टाइम रे तो एनईपी 2020 if we look into the NEP 2020 higher education part, then you can see the quality universities and colleges is our aim now. Then a forward-looking vision. India is setting a forward-looking vision. So our basis of higher education is knowledge creation and innovation. It hଉଛି NEP 2020 ର କଥା ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିବେ NEP 2020 କୁ ତେଣୁ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ଟିକେ ଜାଣିବା ତାପରେ ଆମେ NEP 2020 କଥା କହିବା. So in history, what we can find this Takshashila became famous as a place of learning due to its teachers' expertise. The teachers were expert at that time. So among its noted pupils were the legendary Indian grammarian Panini. He was an expert in language and grammar, authored one of the greatest work in grammar called Astadhyay. Jibaka, one of the most renowned physicians. So all these people we are there in the ancient India who has done significant contribution to the society. And they were the skilled exponent of statecraft. Both studied here. Takshashila University was a famous university, and all these contributors, Chanakya, Jibakya, Kautilya, Chanakya, Jibaka, all of them contributed a lot to the society. And how they have contributed a lot, that to be thought, point to be thought, that what is the role of this university in their life, what that university was doing for them, so that they have a greater contribution to the society. What is the role in the role of the university? जोटा आमे कहले जे knowledge creation is the role of the university. Role of higher education is knowledge creation, not that passing on the information to the students only. So there is no need to pass information. If information passing or information transfer is the function of university, you will say, then these people may not contribute to the society. So this is one example it is given here. So Takshila, Kasi, Kosala, Magadha also from other countries, in spite of long and arduous journey they had to undertake. So this is the history. Similarly, Nalanda University, you all might have heard. What is about Nalanda University? When Wensang visited it, was called the Nala and was a center of higher learning in various subjects. The university attracted scholars from different parts of the country as well as world. The Chinese scholars When Sang visited Nalanda in 7th century, they have given vivid account of Nalanda. They have noted that as many as 100 discourse happen on a daily basis in a variety of disciplines through the methods of debate and discussions. Wensang himself mentioned that Chancellor of Nalanda, Silabhadra, was the highest living authority in yoga. The course of study offered by the Nalanda University covered a wide range, almost the entire circle of knowledge then available. Students at the Nalanda studied the Vedas and were also trained in fine art, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, politics, and the art of warfare. So, what we understood from these two examples, Takshashila and Nalanda University, you might have also heard from different places that after implementation of NEP 2020, when it was asked to orient about NEP 2020, then these two universities are taken into consideration as an example. What was there in Nalanda University? What was there in Takshashila University? How they had created such type of scholars and who have contributed a lot. So it was also found that there was a greater emphasis on different aspect, all round aspect, what we are now calling as holistic development. So different aspect they were focusing on mind. They were focusing on the mind. They were through yoga. See the Silabhadra, there is an example, the head who was the authority in yoga, and he knows how to control the mind, how to nurture the mind, how to um, how mind can create knowledge. So all these types of knowledge were there in the ancient India. Then if we will see what is the how the higher education developed and what was its aim, then you can find the development and perfection of individual was the aim. In Vedic period we will discuss in Vedic period what was there post independent India. Then after that, when India became independent, at that time how different commissions came into existence and how they have recommended the different recommendations and to promote higher education. So in ancient India, what was the role of higher education? The role of higher education in relation to knowledge has been so predominant in history that higher education has come to be equated with production and dissemination of knowledge. In fact, the emergence of higher education as a distinct stage of education with its aim content pedagogy was due to substantial increase in the fonts of knowledge and even more to men increasing desire, need to know more and more. The medieval ancestor of modern universities started as universitas, corporation, communities of scholars committed to research for and dissemination of knowledge. So ancient India, what it was focusing? It was focusing on the search for truth, search for knowledge. So the scholars at that time who were called as scholars, they meet together. They meet for the creation of knowledge. They discuss among themselves. So there was a in Takshashila University what we discussed. There was a line that the scholars have the quest for knowledge. They wanted to search for knowledge. So, as in the case of individual development, the knowledge transmission function also has not been free from controversies. The basic question that have been asked are what knowledge is most worth? For example, in scientific research, is basic research more important than applied research? And whether knowledge should be pursued or its own sake of its utility or for both, this is the logic, this is the argument. This is the argument done whether which is important, which type of research is important, whether scientific research is important or basic research is important. Now it is said that applied research is much more useful to us. We need skilled individual. We want to develop our country as a knowledge economy, knowledge society, vibrant knowledge society. what NEP says. So we have to accordingly focus. But it was there in the ancient India. It is about higher education. That in the higher education means some scholars, or it is a community of scholars who are searching for the and dissemination of knowledge. They have a quest for knowledge. And if we will look at a glimpse of Vedic Indians, Vedic education, Vedic period, then you can find the Vedic Indian classified knowledge as Paravidya and Aparavidya. Paravidya is the knowledge that transcended human experience or spiritual knowledge. You can say the Aparavidya. What is Aparavidya? The knowledge based on human experience, that is Aparavidya, experiential learning, and helped the former as worthy goal of education and life itself. Such knowledge, such knowledge again was not the pursue, not to be pursued for the instrumental use in the world, but for attending spiritual perfection or moksha. Vedic period रे एक कथा कहला जे पराविद्या अपराविद्या पराविद्या is the spiritual knowledge, and it may not be brought to the people, so that it for its instrumental use याको परिहब नाही वर्ल्ड स्पिरिचुअल परफेक्शन और मोक्ष पे तेणु ताको कोन कराला ना बेले बेले ताको हाइड करके रखा गला बहुत लोग ताको हाइड कर रखिले दे डू नॉट वांट दैट इट विल बी ट्रांसमिटेड टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन so it is hidden. So the Parishadas, which were assemblies of Brahmanas, learned the Vedas, functioned as centers of higher learning to provide the seeker with such knowledge. Who were the seeker? They were providing that knowledge. Even the later universities of Taxila and Nalanda essentially concerned themselves with spiritual learning. The same was the case with medieval Christian monastery in Europe. So some people were there, they were dominant in the society also, you can say. They keep this knowledge up to themselves. They do not allow it to pass to everyone. So it becomes the hidden knowledge or secret knowledge. Today also this knowledge exists, but in the secret form it may exist there. So this was the condition at that time. Then we will proceed to, if we will proceed to the higher education system in the post-independent India. Before proceeding to it, there is an interesting thing about the education. The development of individual, if we will see, this is a definition of the Bertrand Russell, that what he says about the aims of education. Bertrand Russell, he has mentioned that the aims of education may be four. That is VICS. You can say VICS, VICS, VICS. So V stands for the vitality. What should be the aim of education? Vitality. It should provide vitality to the person, to the individual. Why? What is vitality? Vitality, that means the energy, that is the interest in the world, so leading to objectivity, and it promotes the power of hard work. When you have interest, then you can do hard work. So this is vitality. And second one, VIX, from I means intelligence. Aim of education should be intelligence. So what is intelligence? Intelligence means the actual knowledge and receptivity to knowledge, and intelligence demands an alert curiosity. Okay, so curiosity is inspired by a genuine love for knowledge. So when curiosity will be inspired, that is intelligence. So that should be the aim of education. Then big C. C means courage. What type of courage? Education, what the education should do? The education should give you courage. If you have no courage, then there should not be any education. So courage should be the aim of education. What is courage? This is self-respect with an impersonal outlook in life, Perfection of courage is found in a person who feels his or her ego to be small part of the world, not through despising oneself, but through valuing much that is not oneself. This happens when the instinct is free and intelligence is active. When you will be courageous, when the instinct, your instinct, you have that animal instinct, fear, that you, when you will be free from that fear, and when your intelligence will get activated by knowledge, then only courage will come to you. So it should be the aim of education. Then VIX S, last letter is S, sensitiveness. Sensitiveness means emotionally sensitive. Emotionally sensitive means the emotional reaction must be appropriate. If you are observing someone, then if you are going with that emotion also, emotional intelligence, you are now saying that emotional intelligence is given more emphasis. So sensitiveness is very essential. You should be, your emotional reaction should be appropriate. Okay, so this is according to Russell. Russell thought what should be the aim of education. Then, if you look to the idea of Krishnamurti, you might have heard the name of Krishnamurti. So, if you will look to the idea of Krishnamurti, so according to him, the development of seeker of knowledge through inquiry. What should be the aim of education? Aim of education should be development of seeker of knowledge through the process of inquiry. So you inquire, inquire, and inquire. Who will inquire? Who has the love for knowledge, who love to know. He will seek and he will go through the process of inquiry. Without inquiry, you cannot uh, show your love for knowledge. So this is the Krishnamurti's idea. And another educationist is there. That is, the name is Toffler, and his book named Future Shock, he uh, wrote here in the book Future Shock, what should be the aim of education. Three things he has mentioned, 3L you can say: learning how to learn, second L, learning to relate, and third L, learning to make choices. These three, according to Toffler in his book Future Shock. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have to confirm in between that whether I am in the meeting or not. I am not able to see the screen actually, so that's why. Okay, thank you. So, Krishnamurti's idea. What should be the aim of education? Then we will proceed to what is okay, Paravidya, Aparavidya, whatever. Then we will proceed to the post-independent India. So, in post-independent India, if we will see how the higher education in the changing Indian context, you can say, under this we can discuss about the different commissions and committees, what they told about higher education system. So, first commission was Higher Education Commission, University Education Commission, or you can say Radhakrishnan Commission, and Radhakrishnan Commission should be in line with social purpose. What according to Radhakrishnan Commission, then the higher education policies and programs should be in the line with the social purpose which we profess to serve. There should be a sufficient unity of purpose in the diversity to produce a community of values and ideas among educated men and women. So it has emphasized that values and ideas should be emphasized. So promotion of moral and intellectual value is important according to Radhakrishnan Commission. Why higher education should be there, or what should be the aim of higher education? Now higher education ର ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ମୁଖ୍ୟ ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟ ହେବା ଦରକାର moral and intellectual values, creation of knowledge. After that, knowledge can be created. So this was these were the highlights of Radhakrishnan Commission. Then we will proceed to the next commission, that is your Kothari Commission 64, 1964, 66 Commission, what you popularly know. So it is popularly known as Kothari Commission, and it says what it says about the universities, that they are the dwelling place of ideas and idealism. Okay, and expect high standard of conduct and integrity from all their members. So higher education is not for literacy. Higher education is not for passing on informations. It is the dwelling place of ideas and idealism. Ideas of a society will be generated from that place. That is the highest place of education. So, ideas will be generated from the higher education institutions. And society can expect high standards of conduct and integrity from all their members. Very important line what Kothari Commission has mentioned, that the society expects high standard of conduct and integrity from all their members. So recently, before some time, I am giving one example. High standard of conduct and integrity, how it is important. Now you might have observed in the society, kon dekhuchu to mane observe kon karicho society re. We are saying that yes, uh, the values are degrading, deflating. Why? Education has no value. Somebody has comments like this, education ର କିଛି value ନାହିଁ, society ରେ କେହି ୟାକୁ ପଚାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି, ଯେତେ learned individual ର କୌଣସି degree ର value ନାହିଁ, like this. These are the common words. Okay, so ହାଇ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡ କଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟ ଆଗରୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ପାସ୍ କରୁଥିଲେ ଲୋକମାନେ, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦିଆହେଉଥିଲା ହାଏଷ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡ ଦିଆହେଉଥିଲା, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଅନର ଦିଆହେଉଥିଲା। ଏବେ ବି ଦିଆହେଉଛି ଯୋଉଟା ଡିଗ୍ରୀ। ଆଗରୁ ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଦିଆହେଉଥିଲା, ସୋ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଦ ସିମ୍ବଲ ଅଫ ହାଇ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡ। ତାକୁ ଲୋକମାନେ କହୁଥିଲେ ଯେ ତାର ଗୋଟେ ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ଅଛି, ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ଅଛି, ମିନ୍ସ ହି ଇଜ ଏ intelligent people, he is a intelligent individual, and everybody follows him or go to him to ask for the solution or something like this. And also accordingly his behavior is also like that. He is a graduate, he is a university degree holder, like this people were respecting, because it were maintaining high standard of integrity is there। ତେଣୁ ତାକୁ ସମସ୍ତେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି, ସେ ହାଇ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡକୁ ସେ ମେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ କରିବା ଦରକାର ହୁଏ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଏବେ ଲୋକ କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ଏବେ ଜଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ କହୁଛି, କିଛି ସମୟ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଗୋଟେ କଲ୍ ଆସିଥିଲା, ସେ କହିଲେ ଯେ the people who are reading there, they are not they are going to be something in the society, they are going to, as they are in the higher education institution, they are going to contribute to the society, but their behavior is like this, so how can they contribute? Okay, so this is one example, but actually you can get lots of example like this behavior, their integrity, their standard, their standard of conduct, that is deflecting। So Kothari Commission ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସେ ଗୋଟେ important କଥା କହିଲା ଯେ higher standard of integrity should be there, and the universities must learn to encourage individuality, variety and dissent with a climate of tolerance. That was also the important line Kothari Commission recommended. And the higher education policies and programs should be in line with the social purpose which we profess to serve। ତମେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଯଦି ଏବେ ସେଇ ପର୍ପୋଜ ସର୍ଭ କରିବେ ବା ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ସେ ପର୍ପୋଜକୁ ସର୍ଭ କରିବେ, ତାହେଲେ ସୋସିଆଲ ଇନଫ୍ଲୁଏନ୍ସ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ଦେୟାର। ତେଣୁ ସୋସାଇଟିକୁ ଇନଫ୍ଲୁଏନ୍ସ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ୟାର ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନର ରୋଲ ବହୁତ ଅଧିକ ରହିଛି। ଇଏ ଭ୍ୟାଲୁଜ ଆଉ ଆଇଡିଆଜ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସମିଶନ କରିବ। There should be a sufficient unity of purpose and in the diversity to produce a community of values and ideas among educated men and women. Democracy, justice, equality, liberty, fraternity, university must stand for these ideals, which can never be lost so long as men seek wisdom and follow righteousness. So these are some of the recommendations of Kothari Commission. Then we will move to what are the changes. Okay, before moving to the next part, we will see what is the aim of higher education according to your NEP 2020. As it is the recent policy, I think you should know this. What are the different recommendation? I will tell you some of the recommendation. It is recommended so many things, but actually according to NEP 2020, the vision of higher education will require a new conceptual understanding of what constitute a higher education institution or a university or a college. A university will mean a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning. Every institution need to be multidisciplinary of higher learning that offers undergraduate and graduate program with high quality teaching, research, community engagement. So teaching should be high quality. Actually, the research means it means that creation of knowledge. The universities should be the center for creation of knowledge and community engagement. They should involve with the community. They should work with the community. They should work for the community. So, as per NEP 2020, also the university are working now, as you have seen, that every educational institution, higher education institution, must have an concern towards the community engagement, how they are benefiting the community, how they are contributing to the community. That must be a aim. The definition of university will allow the spectrum of institutions that range from those that place equal emphasis. This is the definition given by NEP 2020, and it has recommended so many things like multidisciplinary institution, then autonomy and freedom to higher education institution to work in a with the different categories. So in the sustainable development also they can contribute. So these type of things the NEP 2020 has recommended what should be the aim of higher education, and it has also recommended about the holistic development of the individual. And if you have marked or observed, the universities or any higher education institution, the colleges, they are organizing so many activities under NEP 2020. So these are the recommendations of NEP 2020. What should be the aim of education, and to fulfill the aim of education, what should be there in the colleges or universities? Then we will see only higher education and society. That we have discussed that knowledge is the true basis of higher education. Its production via research, its transmission via teaching. So these two actions are taken by the universities or the colleges. So it will be produced through research and it will be transmitted via this. Okay, just a minute, just a minute. Okay, somebody is not able to join the class, so that was the call.
हेलो मैम
Yes, yes.
मैम 18 नंबर पीपीटी रे टिके काइंडली देखेबे की
Okay.
थैंक यू मैम
Okay, it is about that your university. What are the changes? It is only written only. That's why I skipped it. If you want, you can see. Okay.
हाँ मैम हाँ ଏବେ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ।
Okay. Then higher education and society. What we are saying that higher education, it is a very good line that it's production via research. Via research, the higher education will create knowledge and transmit it via teaching. Its acquisition and use by students. Remember this, it's a production via research, transmission via teaching, it's acquisition and use by the students. So you create knowledge, you use it, acquire it, and use it also, not only create. So after creation, it cannot be transmitted. Okay, you have to use it also in reality. So the social mission of higher education depends on the quality of this knowledge. Hence, excellence must remain the prime objective of any institution of higher education, including universities. If these wish to retain their traditional role as critics and servants of society, they must guarantee excellence in the knowledge and training that they impart. This is as per the document of UNESCO. In UNESCO document, it has been mentioned how higher education and society are related. Okay. So excellence, it is mentioned here three things. You create knowledge, and excellence should be there, and that need to be applied to the reality. That's why community engagement is a part of higher education now. Although it was there, but it was not applied in the mid period. For some years it was not applied in the field. That's why now it is applied as ତାକୁ apply କେମିତି ସେମାନେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ନା NAC କୁ କୁହାଗଲା ଯେ you will be given the grade NAC A B C D etc. So you have to fulfill all these criteria. That's why they are going to apply this knowledge now. They have started this type of things there in the higher education institutions. Okay. Then academic freedom and institutional autonomy should be given. This is also related to your social need. Academic freedom and institutional autonomy are closely related. The distinction between the two concepts is that while academic freedom relates to academics, that is to individual, institutional autonomy relates to institution. They are employers. Institutional autonomy guarantee academic freedom to some measure but cannot be constructed as a sufficient condition. So if you have to work or create knowledge, how can you create knowledge if somebody is there in your on your head and controlling you? ଯେ ମୁଁ ଯାହା କହୁଛି, ମୁଁ ଯାହା ଗାଇଡଲାଇନ ଦଉଛି, ମୁଁ ଯାହା ପ୍ରୋଟୋକଲ ଦଉଛି, you follow, then creation of knowledge is not possible. Okay, so if there is autonomy and freedom, then freedom is given to the academician. Okay, academic freedom. Then institutional autonomy, if it is given, then only it will serve the purpose of creation of knowledge, application of knowledge, and it can attain the excellence. NEP 2020 ଯଦି ଆପଣ ମାନେ ପଢିଥିବେ, ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଦେଖିଥିବେ, there is a term innovation. ସବୁଆଡେ କୁହାଗଲା, ସବୁ ସ୍କୁଲ ଏଜୁକେସନ ପଢନ୍ତୁ, ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ପଢନ୍ତୁ, ସବୁଆଡେ କୁହାଗଲା ଯେ innovation, you should do innovation. What type of, when innovation is possible? Innovation will be possible only when you will cross the boundary. Boundary କେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ମାନେ କ୍ରସ୍ କରିବେ ନା ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଫ୍ରିଡମ ଦିଆଯିବ, ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ନ୍ୟୁ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିବାର ଫ୍ରିଡମ ଦିଆଯିବ, ନ୍ୟୁ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜିକୁ ରିଏଲିଟିକୁ ଆଣିବା ପାଇଁ ଫ୍ରିଡମ ଦିଆହେବ, ସେତେବେଳେ ଯାଇକି ଆପଣ ଇନୋଭେସନ ଆଡକୁ ଯିବେ. ସୋ ଇନୋଭେସନ ଆଣ୍ଡ ପ୍ରୋଟୋକଲ, ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିବେ ଯେ ମୁଁ ଏଇ ପ୍ରୋଟୋକଲ ଦଉଛି, ତମେ 1 ନମ୍ବର ଷ୍ଟେପରେ ଏ କାମ କର, 2 ନମ୍ବର ଷ୍ଟେପରେ ସେ କାମ କର, 3 ନମ୍ବର ଷ୍ଟେପରେ ସେ କାମ କର, no innovation will be there. Innovation ହବ ନାହିଁ, କାହିଁକି ନା you have to cross the boundary, you have to free yourself, your mind should be free to that's why now it is given emphasis on mind through yoga. You go for yoga, your mind will be in a free state. When you will be in a relaxed state, you will feel the freedom, then only innovation is possible. Okay. Then how the evolution of the university occurred. So university, I will skip some of the slides because I have to cover a greater part. Okay. So university concept, the typical contemporary Indian institution form of higher education is the university with a number of affiliated or constituent colleges. The unitary universities are few and far between. So this is only about the university concept. So I think no need. Then development of the university system. କେମିତି ଡେଭଲପ୍ ହେଲା ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ ଏ ୱେଷ୍ଟର୍ଣ୍ଣ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି କଥାରୁ ସେ ଆସିଲା ଯେ ଓଭର୍ ଦ ୱେଷ୍ଟର୍ଣ୍ଣ ୱାର୍ଲଡ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଡେଭଲପ୍ many variation. Oxford and Cambridge took the form of college in which learned fellow lived along with their students and taught them mainly as undergraduate. To begin with, Oxford and Cambridge College were essentially academically independent. They are being located in the same place and within a common organization merely facilitated by individual exchange. In the beginning, there were no external examination which were instituted, only a measure of reform or corrupt practices which had. So this is the history only development of university system କେମିତି develop ହେଇଥିଲା ତ ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହିଲେ ancient Indiaରେ the scholars ର community create କରାହଉଥିଲା ସେ scholars ମାନଙ୍କ communityରୁ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ place ଥିଲା ଯୋଉଠି ସେମାନେ knowledge creation ପାଇଁ scope ପାଉଥିଲେ ତ ସେଟା ଏଟା ହେଉଛି foreign Oxford Cambridge କେମିତି develop କଲା next Indian higher education ର historical ଏଟା ଗୋଟେ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲା okay ଏଟା ଆମେ ବୋଧେ କହିସାରିଛୁ ବିକ୍ରମଶିଳା ତକ୍ଷଶିଳା ଯାହା ଥିଲା ସେଟା ଆସିଲା ये भी एटा होची डिफरेंट जो थिला हमें कहले नालंदा तक्षशिला जेमती गोटे एग्जांपल कहले जेमती देयर आर टू ट्रेडिशंस थिला हमर एंशिएंट मेडिएवल संस्कृत बुद्धिस्ट ट्रेडिशन मेडिएवल अरेबिक एंड पर्शियन ट्रेडिशन अदर ईस्ट एंड साउथ इंडियन ट्रेडिशन तमिल ट्रेडिशन ए वाला चारटा तीनटा ट्रेडिशंस थिला हमर इंडिया रे जो थे कि कौन है ना विक्रमशिला फाउंडेड इन अराउंड 1800 AD had given and taken with Nalanda time ro katha but about its location it is only know that it was only on a hill in the right bank of Ganges. Among the subjects studies here were कौन पढ़ा होता है ना grammar metaphysics including logic and ritualistic books. The monastery of 108 resident monks persist at one time. Pandit who were eminent for learning and character were rewarded. These are the universities of India. Indian universities विषय रे कहला. So 6 of the most learned sages were appointed. most learned sages माने सेठी पढौतले से बळे अरेबिक मद्रासा मध्ये गोटे थिला जोतरे British time रे British came but not much more inquiry based and perhaps also more religious in the orientation. सेठी बेसी religion को देखाउतला से Indian university जो अरेबिक मद्रासा थिला. नेक्स्ट होची मैकुले मिनिट्स आसिला मैकुले मिनिट 1835 रे जेतो हला सेता कथा ए कथाटा टिके कहबा हम या पर सेक्शन रे अछि भी सेटी आ टिके डिटेल कहबा यूजीसी केमदी आसिला बोली The Minute of Macaulay was written in 1935, championing the cause of English and summarizing the aim of British educational policy in the following words. We must at present do our best to form a class who may be interpreters between us and the millions we govern, a class of pension, Indian in blood and color, but English in taste. Eta Macaulay Minute ru e katha asthila je Sir William Bentinck was the Governor General who approved this minute, and he was the same who made sati illegal in 1929 and took steps to eradicate huge infanticide. Like this was the history. Impact of British policy ro kon impact rahila na as noticed earlier the minute of Macaulay and Wood's dispatch jota haitila generally express the objective of British policy, namely to form the class of person Indian in blood and color but English in taste, in opinion, moral and intellect, to supply trusted servant for running the function of the empire in India. এটা आपण जानचु ब्रिटिश कथा तो ये होची इम्पैक्ट रहला तेनु एबे जेतले एनईपी 2020 आसला ए जो पॉलिसी से माने कर दे जाइतिला हम पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया रे जेतले पॉलिसी बनेलु यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन कमिशन टू नै कि 1986 पॉलिसी नेशनल पॉलिसी ऑन एजुकेशन बनेबा पर्यंत आमे कोन करलु ना आमे we followed the British system generally. what was there, what they have created, that to some extent our schools were followed. But first time the NEP 2020, which is published in 1920, sorry 2020, 2020, there some steps has been taken to invoke the Indian tradition and what India needs. That is there. So according to everybody think that it is going to fulfill the aim of education to some extent in the context of India. So this is the 10 plus 2 system where this is also the history starting from 1990 pre-independent India to post-independent India, just 1964, 66, 64, 1968. So you can find 10 plus 2 system of education was there, but now it has been converted to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system of education ଏବେ କରିଦିଆଯାଇଛି। ତ ସେଠି ଯାହା ଥିଲା ସେ ରିପୋର୍ଟର କମିଶନ ଅନୁଯାୟୀ 10 ପ୍ଲସ୍ 2 ଇୟର ଅଫ୍ ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ଫ୍ଲେକ୍ସିବଲ୍ ଆଉ କ'ଣ ରହିବ ସେ କହିଦେଇଥିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ରି ସ୍କୁଲ ଷ୍ଟେଜ୍ 1 to 3 ଇୟର, ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଷ୍ଟେଜ୍ 7 to 8 ଇୟର, ଏଇଭଳିଆ ତାର ଯାହା ଥିଲା ଆମେ ସେଟା ଆଉ କହିବାନି, ଏବେ କହିବା 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 ସିଷ୍ଟମରେ। 5ରେ କ'ଣ ଅଛି ନା ସେଇ 5ରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଆମର ଯୋଉ 3 ବର୍ଷରୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିକି ନର୍ସରୀ ଯୋଉ 3ଟା କ୍ଲାସ୍ ରହିଥିଲା 1 2 3 ଆଉ 1 2 ପ୍ରଥମ ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ ଯୋଉଟା ଥିଲା ସେ ମିଶିକି ହେଇଯାଇଛନ୍ତି 5 ବର୍ଷ। 5 ପ୍ଲସ୍ 3ରେ କିଏ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ନା 3 4 5 ପଳେଇ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି, 6 7 8 ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ 3ରେ, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 ସିଷ୍ଟମରେ 9 10 11 12 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ପଳେଇଛନ୍ତି। So this is the present system according to NEP 2020. Then influence of English, I also think this is not needed. Research and creativity, okay, it is already done. Science and technology, so these are research and these are the things associated with the higher education. You can say how higher education institutions are influenced by the science and technology. Then higher education and development. What are the developments? So many of the function of education with respect to development relate to higher education. Higher education is not merely at the apex of education system. It is also the level which prepare personnel for other level of education and expertise for a great variety of jobs. ତେଣୁ ସେ କହୁଛି higher education only, not only ଯେମିତି ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ କଥା ଆମେ ଯଦି କହିବା, ହ୍ୱାଟ ଇଜ ଦ ଏମ୍ ଅଫ୍ ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ? ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ ବ୍ରିଜ ଦ ଗ୍ୟାପ୍। ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଯେତିକି ଏକ୍ସେଲେନ୍ସ ତିଆରି କରିବ, ଇଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ସପ୍ଲାଏ ଟୁ ଦ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ, ସେତିକି ସପ୍ଲାଏ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନକୁ ମିଳିବ। ଆପଣମାନେ ଯଦି ଫରେନ୍ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିକୁ ଯିବେ ଦେଖିବେ ଯେ ଦେୟାର ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ଇଜ ନଟ୍ ଏକ୍ସେସିବୁଲ ଟୁ ସୋ ମେନି ପର୍ସନ୍ସ। ସେଠି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସାଲାଇଜେସନ ଅଫ୍ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ କୋଉଠି ନାହିଁ। ୟୁନିଭର୍ସାଲାଇଜେସନ ଅଫ୍ ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଅଛି, ୟୁଇଇ। यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन ऑफ सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन एबे करा होची, बट यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन नाही। हायर एजुकेशन होची दोज पीपल हु कैन कंट्रीब्यूट टू द सोसाइटी, हु attain the excellence, they will go for the higher education. So this is the aim of higher education, that the personnel, it prepare the personnel for the society, for all other level of the society. Society needs so many professions, so many people to work for the society, and those people should be created, those people need to be prepared in the universities. ସେଥିପାଇଁ କୁହାଗଲା ଯେ ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ ପାସ୍ କରିବା ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର କାମ ନୁହେଁ। ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର କାମ ହେଲା ୟୁ ପ୍ରିପେୟାର ଦୋଜ ପିପଲ not only in the form of information, you prepare them holistically prepare them so that they can gain the expertise, they can contribute to the society in all levels. If you become a teacher, then you will have to complete your higher education, then you will gain the expertise, and expertise means not in knowledge only, in holistic manner you will gain the expertise, and you can enter into the profession to serve the society. You should have developed that type of attitude to serve the society through the job of teacher for the society. So everything aims in the development of the society. So social, economical, and cultural sector depends on the quality of higher education provided. So, if the quality of higher education will be degraded, then the society will be degraded. We can say this in other way like this also. So, in addition to being the frontier of knowledge, it plays a crucial role in the generation of new knowledge. Therefore, the relation between higher education and development is a crucial one, and this is the main theme of this unit that we will examine in this section. Crucial role. What is the crucial role of education? So, this is self reliance in the scientific and technological know how that is basic to it, development, mobilization of human resources. So, everything what we have discussed that these type of thing to every sector, each and every sector it is going to supply the human resource. So accordingly you have to the higher education has to prepare the individuals. This is also the function of the higher education. It should have function on expansion and pursuit of equality, promotion of culture, creativity, science and technology, creation of new institutions. So these are the things. Then higher education and knowledge. It already discussed how it has to focus on the knowledge. Then knowledge generation and its application. This is some types of history written here that knowledge generation we have what we have called ଆମେ ଯୋଉଟା କହିଲୁ ଯେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ପାଇଁ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ଫର୍ ନଲେଜ ଲଭ୍ ଫର୍ ନଲେଜ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ ହେବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ କି ମୋତେ ପଢ଼ିବାର ଅଛି ଆଉ ପରୀକ୍ଷାରେ ପାସ୍ କରିବାର ଅଛି ସେଭଳିଆ ନଲେଜ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ବା ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କରିବାଟା ଠିକ୍ ନୁହେଁ ତେଣୁ ଏ ହେଲା ନଲେଜ ଜେନେରେସନ ଦେନ୍ ପ୍ରୋଭାଇଡିଂ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ ଫର୍ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟର ଯେତିକି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଆସୁଛି ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ କଥାଟା ସେମ୍ କଥାଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଅଲଗା ଅଲଗା ୱେରେ କହୁଛୁ ପ୍ରୋଭାଇଡିଂ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ ଫର୍ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ଦ ଚେଞ୍ଜିଂ ସିନେରିଓ ଇନ୍ ଡେଭଲପିଂ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିଜ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ greater dependence of economy on knowledge based industries and knowledge oriented employment. The narrowing gap between theory and practice, which was discussed earlier, is clearly visible in the agricultural sector. It is clearly visible ଏବେ ବି ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ହେଉଛି agricultural sector କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଯେଉଁ ବି sector ଏବେ ସବୁ sectorରେ ଦେଖାଗଲାଣି there is a gap between theory and practice. କାହିଁକି gap ହେଇଗଲା ନା as higher education institution କୋଉଠି ନା କୋଉଠି କିଛି ସମୟ ପାଇଁ କିଛି ବର୍ଷ ପାଇଁ ହଉ ବା କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଟାଇମ୍ ପିରିୟଡ଼ ପାଇଁ ହଉ ସେ କ'ଣ କରିଥିଲା ନା it has gone away from the practical community linkage से community need ଜାଣିଲେନି ଯଦି ତାହେଲେ community को practice କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେମାନେ supply କରିବେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ prepare କରିପାରିବନି କି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି और higher education institution ମାନେ prepare କରିପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ ତେଣୁ developmentର ଇଏ ଗୋଟେ factor ମାନଙ୍କୁ provide କରୁଛି higher education कौन प्रोवाइड कर एज ए फैक्टर ना नॉलेज प्रोवाइड कर ह्यूमन रिसोर्स थ्रू रे नॉलेज प्रोवाइड कर नॉलेज से प्रोवाइड करुच्ची फैक्टर हिसाब डेवलपमेंट रो फैक्टर हिसाब सो यूनिवर्सिटी और हायर एजुकेशन नीड टू बी वेरी मच कॉन्शियस अबाउट दिस then higher education in human resource development रे कोन काम करचे मैं कहि सारलेनी जे इंडिपेंडेंस पर कोन हेतिला फर्स्ट मेजर रीथिंकिंग अबाउट द एजुकेशनल स्ट्रक्चर एंड कंटेंट वाज एट द यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन स्टेज थ्रू द यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन कमिशन 48 रु नै कि जा हेतिला 48 फर्स्ट यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन को एम्फासिस दियाइतला ता परवर्ती कमिशन गुडारे अलग अलग स्कूल एजुकेशन तापर प्राइमरी एगुडा को एम्फासिस दियाला किंतु फर्स्ट एजुकेशन कमिशन जोटा कंट्री रे हेतिला से होची तुमरो यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन कमिशन then there was a emphasis on quantity as it was made धीरे धीरे करके quantity आड़ को जिते बड़े हमें पढ़े आसिलु quantity को आसिला बड़े को quality ऊपर किछटा impact आसिला so से जब से कहूची there was emphasis on quantity as it was meant to meet the manpower requirement of various sector of manpower requirement थिला तेनु quantity को emphasis दिया गला पर कौन हला ना there was an alleged drop in quality of higher education drop हैला and two there was some disproportionality in the development of manpower between various sector with the development of manpower किछटा disproportionate create हला जोटा कि किछि टाइम पीरियड पई ई सब गैप जेतु क्रिएट हला तार इंपैक्ट एबे ଦେଖାଗଲା ବେଳକୁ ପୁଣି ତାକୁ ରିଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚରିଂ ତାକୁ ରିଭ୍ୟାମ୍ପ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କାମ ଚାଲିଛି। ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ଫର୍ ଲିଡରସିପ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ସୋସିଆଲ କ୍ରିଟିସିଜମ୍ ପାଇଁ ୟାକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ୟୁଜ୍ କରାଯାଉଥିଲା। ଆଟେନିଂ ଏ certain level of social justice, certain level of social political consciousness, supportive of a structural transformation in economic, social and political institution are also important dimension of development. So all major social changes have originated in the minds of people. In fact, such people provide leadership to the society at certain juncture. Such people are the product of universities. The university community will be able to respond to a call for leadership at such juncture only if it consistently endeavors to refine its own social sensitivity and discipline itself to view social phenomena objectively. So democracy owes its dynamism essentially to the professional communities, the academic, and to journalists. So higher education leadership ପାଇଁ higher education responsible. So everything what we have discussed कौन देखिले हमें society almost in every aspect dependent on the higher education. So higher education institution need to be nurtured in such a manner that it will support the social need in every aspect. Okay, so this is uh, all about the aims of higher education and how higher education is related to society and how it is being carried forwarded to the society from the higher education institution. Now we will discuss about what are the this was the history and what are the constitutional provisions regarding Indian higher education. Constitutional provision कौन थिला यूजीसी केमती हेतिला हमर एठी एम रहइबो कोन ना हमें देखिबा जे व्हाट आर द अरेंजमेंट्स ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन इन द colonial period and then what are the central and state mechanism in the higher education sector. We will discuss. First one is the arrangement of higher education in colonial period रे केमिति थिला mechanism एबे कोन exist करछि central and state mechanism कोन अछि higher education ପାଇଁ. Then what origin and function of university grant commission कोट origin हला तार function कोन अछि तार structure कोन अछि वर्तमान discussed. Also we will discuss that constitutional amendments regarding higher education and what is the role of planning and funding in higher education. So higher education institution we have discussed the history of higher education institution. Now we will see what is higher education, how was the arrangement of higher education in the colonial period. Colonial period means the British period time रे केमती कोन थिला. तो सेते बेले कोन हेतिला ना कोन स्लाइड को Modern education system began in India during British period. The modernization of Indian civilization is said to have been facilitated by British control. British came to India as trader. They set up English medium school through which they taught science and literature. The Christian missionaries taught colonial education so that the Indians could be used for clerical jobs. देन आम जदि गोटे पीरियड देखिए आमर पीरियडटा वैदिक पीरियड बुद्धिस्ट पीरियड इस्लामिक पीरियड तापर आसीगला ब्रिटिश पीरियड तेणु आमर जहाँ वैदिक पीरियड बुद्धिस्ट पीरियड इस्लामिक पीरियड रे जहाँ चलुला जहाँ भी आम कहूँ दीज आर द बेस्ट थिंग्स इन द वैदिक पीरियड दीज आर द बेस्ट थिंग इन बुद्धिस्ट पीरियड ऑल दीज वेयर suppressed by the colonial period, that is the British period. So at that time what happened, control of education, how education was controlled in the British period. In the British period there was a governor general at Calcutta who managed and controlled the whole system. Then under him there is governor general in council, from lowest to highest level he was controlling. Then regional authority in different provinces means the states. Then directors of public instruction or DPI you can say, that is the lower level of education. Then the viceroy and governor general who were looking after the university and undergraduate education. So this was the hierarchy maintained. So there was a diarchy after another commission was also there, that is called as the Sadler Commission, and the Sadler Commission was appointed in 1917 to 1919. କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ କରାଯାଇଥିଲା ସେଡଲର କମିଶନ? ନା it will inquire the condition and prospect of University of Calcutta. Okay. So 1917 to 19, and the commission also suggested a large measure of autonomy to the teaching body of universities and advocated mature responsiveness to the needs of students served by them. So ସେ ଟାଇମରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ମର୍ଲେମେଣ୍ଟ ରିଫର୍ମ ତାପରେ ଆସିଲା, ସେଡଲର କମିଶନ ପରେ ମର୍ଲେମେଣ୍ଟ ରିଫର୍ମ ହେଲା, ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା transfer of constitutional authority to manage education not only to the provinces but to Indian minister. Parliament reforms ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ଯାଇକି Indian ministers ମାନଙ୍କୁ ମଧ୍ୟ କିଛିଟା ପାୱାର ମିଳିଲା, ସେତେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କିଛି ଦିଆଗଲା ଏଜୁକେସନର ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଡାୟାର୍କି ସିଷ୍ଟମ ବୋଲି ତାକୁ ଆମେ କହୁଥିଲୁ, ଡାୟାର୍କି ଇନ୍ ଏଜୁକେସନ। ସେଡଲର କମିଶନ ଆସିଲା 17 to 90, ତାପରେ ଆସିଗଲା ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଅଫ କାଲକାଟା, ମର୍ଲେମେଣ୍ଟ ରିଫର୍ମ ଆସିଲା ପରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଡାୟାର୍କି ସିଷ୍ଟମ ଆସିଲା। ଏଜୁକେସନ ଅଣ୍ଡର ଡାୟାର୍କି କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଡ ଅପ୍ ଟୁ 1935 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ, ସେ 1719 ପରେ 1919 ପରେ 1935 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଭିତରେ ଏ ଡାୟାର୍କି ସିଷ୍ଟମ ଚାଲୁଥିଲା। ଡାୟାର୍କି କ'ଣ ନା ଏଜୁକେସନ ଦିଟା ପାର୍ଟରେ ସେମାନେ ଭାଗ କରିଦେଇଥିଲେ, ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ରିଜର୍ଭ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ଅଣ୍ଡର ଦ ଜୁରିସ୍ଡିକ୍ସନ ଅଫ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣର or head of provincial government, next এটা transfer ହେଇଥିଲା to Indian ministers. The Indian ministers were responsible for a provincial legislature which consisted of a large selected majority। ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଦି ଭାଗ ହେଇଥିଲା ବୋଲି ତାକୁ ଡାୟାର୍କି ଅଫ ଏଜୁକେସନ ସିଷ୍ଟମ ବୋଲି ସେତେବେଳେ କୁହାହଉଥିଲା। ତ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଦି ଭାଗ ହେଇଗଲା ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଡାୟାର୍କିରେ ଚାଲିଲା, ସେ ଡାୟାର୍କିକୁ ସେମାନେ କୋଅର୍ଡିନେଟ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କିଛିଟା ସିଷ୍ଟମ ବାହାର କରିଥିଲେ, ଯୋଉଟାକୁ କୁହାହଉଛି ଯେ 1921 ରେ ସେ କ'ଣ କଲେ ନା ଏଜୁକେସନ ବିକେମ୍ ଏ ପ୍ରୋଭିନ୍ସିଆଲ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ। The central government found that it had no mechanism to coordinate with the provinces. So how they will coordinate with the province? Two important steps were taken to deal with the situation. केमिति प्रोविंस सहित कोऑर्डिनेट करिवे, सेमाने कोन कोन स्टेप नेले ना सेमाने गोटे केब तयारी कले, CAB केब, सेंट्रल एडवाइजरी बोर्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन इन 1921 ए बोर्ड गोटे तयारी हला। एंड सेकेंड काम कले सेमाने जे यूनिवर्सिटी को दे परसुएडेड द यूनिवर्सिटीज टू सेट अप एन इंटर यूनिवर्सिटी बोर्ड in 1925. So they did two work. One is establish central advisory body of education in 1921 केव establish कले, आउट 1925 रे इंटर यूनिवर्सिटी बोर्ड से माने तयारी कले। सो द फर्स्ट बॉडी जोटा कले सेंट्रल एडवाइजरी बॉडी, सेंट्रल एडवाइजरी बोर्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन, इट हैड द मिनिस्टर ऑफ एजुकेशन फ्रॉम ईच स्टेट as its member, while on the latter body means your university inter university body, each university was represented by a vice chancellor. This system देखो ये vice chancellor system एबे पर्यंत अछि हमर। So both these bodies provided platform for discussion of views or circulating the views and tendering advice to the government। से जो दीटा बॉडी से माने कले केब आउ इंटर यूनिवर्सिटी बोर्ड, एमाने गवर्नमेंट को एडवाइस करबा काम एमानकु दियाइतला। So while in respect of education, the Act of 1935 रे आसिला Government of India Act, and it also did not lead to any significant change except that it put an end to the inherently defective system of diarchy। 1935 पर्यंत diarchy चलला बोले हम कहतलु, तो 1935 रे जेतबे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट आसिला सेतबे से कोन कला ना diarchy को से खत्म कला, diarchy टा क्लोज कर देला। सेतबे से कोन कहला से कौन कला ना constitutional distinction was made between the power of the center एंड द प्रोविंसेस जे पावर दी जन को पावर भितर गोटे लाइन ड्र कला माने दे डिवाइडेड द पावर जे सेंटर रो किछि पावर आ स्टेट रो किछि पावर बा प्रोविंस रो किछि पावर रहयो बोली से कहला सेथरु आमे जो एबेकार देखुछु करेंटली व्हाट वी हैव फॉलोड द सेंट्रल लिस्ट और स्टेट लिस्ट कनकरेंट लिस्ट जो तीन टाइप रो लिस्ट अपन माने एबे देखुचंती सेटू क्रिएट हेतिला 1935 रे जो एक्ट आसिला गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट सेटू से कोन कला ना दीटा लिस्ट क्रिएट कला जे सेंटर विल डू सम वर्क दैट इज सेंट्रल लिस्ट state will do some work or province will do some work that is the state list आउ किछि लिस्ट रहइबो जोटा कोन हबो ना किए करिवो ना some areas in respect of which the center has concurrent power center रो concurrent power मानेला both state and center had power on this list but central power is more powerful than the state power concurrent list बोली आसिला सेती काम से कला गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट नेक्स्ट आसला आपनकर पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस डेवलपमेंट पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया रे डेवलपमेंट कोन कोन हला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन कोन कोन आसी ना 1947 परे कोन हला ना द 1935 एक्ट जोटा आपनकर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट आस्तिला ताकू डिस्टर्ब आउ करा गलानी दैट वाज नॉट डिस्टर्ब एंड एजुकेशन कंटिन्यूड टू बी स्टेट सब्जेक्ट सेते बेले एजुकेशन दा स्टेट सब्जेक्ट थिला वर्तमान कोठी अछि ना एबे कनकरेंट लिस्ट को आसी एजुकेशन कनकरेंट लिस्ट रे अछि so however a number of influential person including Jawaharlal Nehru prime minister Maulana Azad esu jete thile education minister felt that the center must have a say particularly in respect of higher education Maulana Azad kara it is special role thila je center should have something with the higher education which bears retelling he said that while central control was not possible the control possible nahi ye state list education अछि तथापि central guidance दिया जाओ बोली तांकर दाबी थिला जे you should keep the central guidance must be ensured to higher education से only higher education कथा कहितले जे higher education को only guidance पई मते ताको पावर दे जो तापर सेंट्रल प्रोविजन रे प्रोविजन रे कोन कोन आसला ना द यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन कमिशन which had been appointed in 1948 under the chairmanship of Radhakrishnan made an interim recommendation to the government where it suggested that education be made a concurrent subject तले concurrent आबे जो एबे देखुछु जे concurrent list education in the concurrent list अछि तापा इनिशिएटिव आरंभ हला 1948 रो एमाने डिमांड करले जे it should be there in the concurrent subject मौलाना आजाद जोटा डिमांड करथिले हायर एजुकेशन शुड बी अंडर द सेंट्रल गाइडेंस सेटा को एमान डिमांड करले जे इट शुड बी ए concurrent subject the constitution was then under preparation and a proposal in regard to constitutional position of education was in order and this recommendation was not accepted by the constituent assembly A compromise was worked out under list 1 of 7th schedule wherein the power of center and state are listed. तापरे कहला जे नै हम एबे उठे जेते एक्सेप्ट करलानी सेंटर सेते बेले कोन हला ना डिफरेंट लिस्ट बनाला कोतरे सेंटर लिस्ट ले कोन रहइबो स्टेट लिस्ट रे कोन रहइबो तापरे आसले आपनकर ए एंट्री 64 65 63 64 65 66 dealt with various issues regarding higher education ए चारटा एंट्री सेटी करा गला 63 रु 66 पर्यंत हायर एजुकेशन पे एंट्री करा गला कोन कोन कहला से एंट्री गुडा को ना आपन एंट्री 63 concerned the control of institution like National Library in Calcutta University like Banaras in Hindu University जोटा আছে आपनकर Aligarh and Delhi एमानकर कंट्रोल इंस्टीट्यूशन रहइबो एठी कोठी कंट्रोल ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशन एमानक पाखे रहइबो समस्त तापर नेक्स्ट आसला आपनकर एंट्री 64 कोन कहला ना 64 डील विथ इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ साइंटिफिक एंड टेक्निकल एजुकेशन which may be financed wholly or in part by government of India or declared by the parliament to be institution of national importance scientific and technical education जोटा AICT अंडर रे अछि सेटा को कहला जे एठी national importance जेतु आर अछि ताको कहला wholly or part तारो finance सेतरे center दबो the entry 65 कहला in the case of established institutions engaged in special kind of educational program the central government can declare them as deemed to be universities. These and there are many examples and of different universities. जो मान को सिकले सेंटर रो स्पेशल पावर दिया जाऊ एंट्री 65 रे को आइतला कि ताको deemed to be university करिया पे तो मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट थिला इन एंट्री 66 63 ରୁ 66 ଭିତରେ 66 ଥିଲା ମୋଷ୍ଟ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ସେ କଣ କହିଲା ନା coordination and determination of standards in institution for higher education or research or scientific technical institution ତାଙ୍କର standard କିଏ determine କରିବ in terms of this entry because of the far reaching scope of coordination in higher education and for the need of maintenance and enhance the standard of higher education and research the center came into existence and it would be relevant to note that UGC Act in 1956 came into existence. एमान जेते एते कथा कहले 63 ରୁ 66 भितरे सेतेबेले UGC कथा आसिला जे किए ताको रेगुलेट करिवो ना देयर शुड बी ए कमिशन करके UGC Act अणा गला 1956 से ताको पास करा गला एज ए consequence and in terms of this entry later in 1988 AICT बर्तमान जो AICT अछि आपनकर ऑल इंडिया काउंसिल ऑफ टेक्निकल एजुकेशन वाज आल्सो एस्टैब्लिश्ड एज ए स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी ये दिजन स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी हिसाब रे आपनकर एस्टैब्लिश कराइतला स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी कोन ना जो मानकर लॉ को इंप्लीमेंट करियार क्वालिटी जो मान को पावर दियाइता से मान स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी अदर कोऑर्डिनेटिंग बॉडीज जहाँ सजेशन दिया से समय से माने के सब थिले ना से मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया थिला ता भितरे ता भितर थिला मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया बार काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया नर्सिंग काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल रिसर्च आईकार जोटा अछि फार्मेसी काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ आर्किटेक्ट इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ अकाउंटेंसी ये सब को कोन कराइतला 1966 रे जो लिस्ट कराला इंस्टीट्यूशन ए सब इंस्टीट्यूशन एस्टैब्लिश करिया कथा लिस्ट कराइतला तापर नेक्स्ट किछिटा कथा अछि जोटा एंट्री प्रोविजन इन द स्टेट पई कोन प्रोविजन रहिला ना स्टेट लिस्ट रे एंट्री 11 गोटे थिला जोतरे कि एजुकेशन इंक्लूडिंग यूनिवर्सिटी सब्जेक्ट टू प्रोविजन ऑफ एंट्री 63 ରୁ 66 लिस्ट 1 एठी खुदी लिखाला ए सब कथा उडा को स्टेट प्रोविजन रहिला एंट्री 11 रे रहिला एजुकेशन इंक्लूडिंग यूनिवर्सिटी सब्जेक्ट टू प्रोविजन एटा एंट्री 11 रे कराला स्टेट लिस्ट रे तापर आपनकर 25 लिस्ट 111 रे करा हला गोटे एंट्री तापर रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट विथ रिलेशनशिप कोन रहइबो ना द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन center and state in respect of education however is neither all that rational in its operation nor easy to manage while the state budget in respect of non-plan expenditure are decided upon by the states themselves with regard to plan expenditure the planning commission has a role to play planning commission कथा मध्ये सिटी मेंशन कराइतला planning commission और finance commission दीटा कथा कहैतला गोटे कोन कहला ना planning commission has a role to play in it is not a statutory body but it was established in terms of entry 20 in the concurrent list with the passage of time the planning commission has to come to exercise considerable authority largely for reasons that in terms of fiscal relationship between the center and state center has enormous financial resource and hence power the planning commission से finance को नेकी से plan करिवो से कोन implement करा हो बोले finance commission कोन करला करिवो काम दीटा commission जो कराइतला गोटेला planning commission गोटे होची finance commission would be in order कोटे आसीबो ना according to this constitution it is appointed every 5 years and its job is to allocate funds to the states out of the central pool of income. This statutory process of transfer of funds to the states make the finance allocation. Sometimes states, after receiving the funds, divert them from one sector of education to another sector. ଏଥିରେ ସେ କ'ଣ କହୁଥିଲା ନା ଫାଇନାନ୍ସ କମିଶନର କାମ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେ ଫଣ୍ଡସ୍ ଏଲୋକେଟ୍ କରିବ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ମାନଙ୍କୁ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ କ'ଣ କଲା ସେ ସମୟରେ ବେଳେବେଳେ ସେ ଫଣ୍ଡସ୍କୁ ଏପଟ ସେପଟ କଲା, ମାନେ ମନେ କରାଯାଉ ସେଣ୍ଟରରୁ ଫାଇନାନ୍ସ କମିଶନ ଏପ୍ରୁଭ୍ କଲା ଯେ ତମର ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ପାଇଁ ଏତିକି ଫଣ୍ଡ ସେ ଏପ୍ରୁଭ୍ କଲା, ଇଏ କ'ଣ କଲେ ନା ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ରୁ ନେଇକି ତାକୁ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ଲଗେଇଲେ ବା ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ଆଣିକି ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଲଗେଇଲେ, ଲାଇକ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଦେ ହେଭ୍ diverted it. Since funds were never adequate for the real need of the educational sector, diversion of fund is often related to pressures. डाइवर्सन कला माने प्रेशर है जो सेक्टर रे जेतिक डेवलपमेंट हवा कथा हलानी, तेणु व्हिच रिजल्ट्स इन हायर एजुकेशन बीइंग द बेनिफिशियरी एट द एक्सपेंस ऑफ प्राइमरी एजुकेशन. तेणु प्राइमरी को न जाई बेसी हायर एजुकेशन को दिया हेगला, तेणु परे परे प्राइमरी एजुकेशन को तापर ए जो रिसेंट स्पेशल जिंचो करी कि ताको दिया हला फंड. But of course this does not mean that higher education get much as need अनुसार मिलला नहीं, फिर भी higher education को more emphasis दिया हेतला. तापर नेक्स्ट आसला आपनकर कोऑर्डिनेशन मेकानिज्म कोन थिला सेंटर और स्टेट भितर, एटा कोऑर्डिनेशन मेकानिज्म कोन थिला सेंटर स्टेट भितर ना. सेंटर हैज बीन हेल्पिंग द हायर एजुकेशन सेक्टर. सो वन इज यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट कमिशन यूजीसी, गोटे कला से एआईसीटी, आउ दुईटा बॉडी कला आईकार आईसीएआर जोटा आपनकर थिला इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल रिसर्च आईसीएआर आईकार, आ गोटे रहा एनसीटी नेशनल काउंसिल और टीचर एजुकेशन. ता भितर दीटा बॉडी कला यूजीसी और एआईसीटी कला, जो दीटाक स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी बोली आमे कहले. स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी माने से माने कोन करिवे ना, दे विल इंप्लीमेंट द लॉ डायरेक्टली, दे हैव द पावर टू इंप्लीमेंट द लॉ को डायरेक्टली से इंप्लीमेंट करबे. स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी वाली सेतबेले करा हैतला. तापरे ए जो बाकी दीटा रहितला से समय आईकार जो कहली इंडियन काउंसिल फॉर एग्रीकल्चरल रिसर्च एंड एनसीटी नेशनल काउंसिल ऑन टीचर एजुकेशन एनसीटी, दी जण नॉन स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी बोली सेतबेले तयारी कराला. नेक्स्ट आसला यूजीसी को आसे. तो एटी कोन कला ना हमर गोटे नेशनल सिस्टम ऑफ एजुकेशन जेतबेले हमें करियर चिंता करले, the first attempt to formulate national system of education in India, it came in 1944 with the report of the CAB, Central Advisory Board of Education, which CAB. CAB reported that or proposed a national system of education. At that time in 1944 it came into existence on post-war educational development in India, also known as Sargent report. The report which was provided by the CAB, that was known as Sargent report. It recommended that formation of a university grant commission, which was formed in 1945 to oversee the work of three central universities. At that time there are three central universities. One is at Aligarh, Banaras and Delhi. It reported, Sargent report made recommendation for this UGC. And in 1947 the committee was entrusted with the responsibility of dealing with all of the यूनिवर्सिटी. सेतबेले जो तीनटा यूनिवर्सिटी थिला आपनकर अलीगढ़, बनारस और दिल्ली, ताकर रिस्पांसिबिलिटी दिया गला काकू ना से यूजीसी को दिया हो बोली डिसाइड कराला. Then University Education Commission was set up in 1948 and to report on Indian university and education, suggest improvement and extension that might be desirable to suit the present and future need of aspirations of the country. So the University Education Commission recommended that the UGC be reconstituted. UGC concept policy 1944, but it according as per the recommendation of the Radhakrishnan Commission or University Education Commission, it recommended that it should be reconstituted on the general model of University Grant Commission of the United Kingdom, with a full-time chairman and other members to be appointed from educationists of repute. some reputed educationist को नहीं करे पे यूनाइटेड किंगडम फॉर्मेट रे बोली ये प्रपोजल देला एक जो कमीशन 1949 कमीशन. So what happened then in 1952 the union government decided that all cases pertaining to the allocation of grant in aid from public fund to central university and other universities and institution of higher learning might be referred to university grant commission. ତାକୁ କୁହାଗଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ସବୁକୁ ଦେଇଦେବା ପାଇଁ ସବୁ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଟ କମିଶନକୁ and University Grant Commission was formally inaugurated by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. He was the then education minister and National Natural Resource and Scientific Research on December 1953 रे दिया गला यूजीसी बोली ताको इनागुरेट कर दिया गला 1953 किंतु 1956 रे ताको स्टैट्यूटरी स्टेटस दिया गला. So UGC was awarded the statutory status in 1956 as per the Government of India through the Act of Parliament. For why UGC was established? For three functions UGC was established. One is your coordination, second is your determination, and third is your maintenance of standard of university education in India. So three functions, main functions were assigned to the UGC and University Education Commission. So three functions were coordination, determination, and maintenance of standard of university education in India. So to ensure effective region-wise coverage throughout the country, the UGC has decentralized its operations by setting up 6 regional centers at Pune, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bhopal, Guwahati, and Bangalore. So these are the regional centers of the UGC. Then what are the composition of UGC? UGC कौन को माने UGC रे रहिबे बोली तार composition ऊपर कौन recommendation हेतला. And the UGC रो जने chairperson रहिबे. ये chairperson किए हेतिबे ने से chairperson और vice chairperson रहिबे आउ 10 members रहिबे. Other 10 members appointed by the central government. सेमान सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अपॉइंट करू कि चेयरपर्सन किए हेबे ना चेयरपर्सन से लोक जे गवर्नमेंट रे चाकरी करते से ही परिबेनी सेंट्रल स्टेट गवर्नमेंट रे ऑफिस रे चाकरी करते से माने ही परिबेनी चेयरपर्सन से अदर पर्सन जे माने अपॉइंट करिवे एज ऑफिसर्स और चेयरपर्सन ऑफ द यूजीसी. 10 मेंबर्स भितरु किए कोन हेबे ना 10 मेंबर्स भितरु 2 जण रहिबे जो माने कि रिप्रेजेंट करिवे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को. 4 जण रहिबे जो माने रहिबे यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर्स आउ जो 3 जण रही गले 4 2 6 जेले ये 3 4 जण जो रहिले से माने को एजुकेशनिस्ट एमिनेंट एजुकेशनिस्ट जो मान रहिले से माने को सिलेक्ट कराबो. ताले चेयरमैन चेयरपर्सन रहिबे वाइस चेयरपर्सन रहिबे जो माने तमरो एम्प्लॉय हेइ नथबे से भीतर तांको सिलेक्ट कराबो. 2 जण रहिबे रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, 4 जण रहिबे यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर्स आउ रहिबे बाकी माने रहिबे एजुकेशनिस्ट एमिनेंट एजुकेशनिस्ट जो माने जो फील्ड रे एजुकेशन रही कि रेपुटेड हेतिबे से मानको सेठी रखाबो. कंपोजिशन दिस इज द कंपोजिशन ऑफ यूजीसी. देन फंडिंग ऑफ यूजीसी. यूजीसी रो फंडिंग केमति हबो ना इन ऑर्डर टू एग्जीक्यूट इट्स responsibility, the UGC received both plan and non-plan grant from the central government. It allocates and disperses full maintenance and development grant to all central university college affiliated to Delhi University, Banaras Hindu University, and Aligarh Muslim University, and some institutions that have been accorded in the status of deemed to be university. State university, college, and other institution of higher education receive support only from plan grant. And UGC also provide financial assistance to universities and colleges under various scheme or program for promoting quality, excellence, teaching, and research. So these are the funding pattern of the UGC. And then what is the mandate of UGC? The UGC has the unique distinction of being only the grant giving agency. in the country which has been vested with two responsibility: providing funds and that of coordination, determination and maintenance of standards in institution of higher education. The UGC mandate include promoting and coordinating university education, determining and maintaining standards of teaching, examination, and research in university, framing regulation on minimum standard of education, monitoring development in the field of collegiate and university education, disbursing grants to the universities and colleges, serving as a vital link between the union and state government and institution of higher learning, advising the central and state government on the measures necessary for improvement of university education. These were the mandates of UGC. And by the passage of time, some mandates were also deleted. Some important deletion has also been made in the act. So in 1900 51 of draft council of India ଯେତେବେଳେ କରାଗଲା ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ କାଉନସିଲ କରାଗଲା ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେତେବେଳେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା କିଛି ଡିଲିସନ କିଛିଟା ପାୱାରର ମଧ୍ୟ ତାର କରାହେଇଥିଲା ଯେ UGC Act amended 1972 was given the power to refuse grants to university whose establishment could be authorized only if the fulfilled condition regarding autonomy finance से पावरटा दियागला ताकू 1972 रे ଆଉ କିଛିଟା ପାୱାର ତାକୁ ଡିଲିସନ ମଧ୍ୟ କରାହେଇଥିଲା UGC ପାଖରୁ ଯେମିତି କି ନ୍ୟୁ ଇନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନ ସେଟଅପ୍ କଲା ବେଳକୁ ତାଙ୍କୁ କ'ଣ କରାଯିବ ଯଦି old are provided insufficient funds for operating a high level, number of colleges are being added to the rate of more than 200 years, ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ କେତେଟା ପାୱାର ଡିଲିଟ୍ କରାଗଲା କିନ୍ତୁ 1972 ରେ ତାକୁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପାୱାର ଦିଆଗଲା ଯେ ଇଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଥିଲା ତାକୁ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଟ କମିଶନ କ'ଣ କରୁଥିଲା ତାର ମେନ୍ ଫଙ୍କସନ ମେଜର ଫଙ୍କସନ ଗୋଟେ ଥିଲା ଯେ ଟୁ ପ୍ରୋଭାଇଡ ଫଣ୍ଡସ୍ but by the passage of time it has the power to refuse grants to the universities whose establishment could be authorized only if they fulfill the condition ଯଦି fulfill ହେବ grant ପାଇବ otherwise ସେ grant ପାଇବ ନାହିଁ ଏସବୁ କଥା ତାକୁ କହିଥିଲା UGCରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆସିଲା ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯେତେବେଳେ UGCର ରିସେଣ୍ଟ ଇନିସିଏଟିଭ କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ହେଇଛି ନା ରିସେଣ୍ଟ ଇନିସିଏଟିଭ ଭିତରେ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ଯେ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡ ଅଫ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ को इम्प्रूव करिया ପାଇଁ क्वालिटी ଆଉ ତାର ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡ ବଢିया ପାଇଁ UGC ର କିଛି କିଛି ଇନିସିଏଟିଭ ସେ ମଝି ମଝି ନଉଛି ଏବେ ଯେତେବେଳେ NEP 2020 ଆସିଲା ପରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆଉ କିଛି ନୂଆ ଇନିସିଏଟିଭ ଏଡ୍ ହେଇଛି ଏଥିରେ ଏବେ ଯୋଉଟା ଯୋଉଟା ରିକ୍ୱାୟରମେଣ୍ଟ ନିଡ୍ ହିସାବରେ ସେ ବାଇ ଦ ପାସେଜ ଅଫ ଟାଇମ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଏଡିଂ the responsibility or taking the initiative. So some of the initiatives are improvement in the quality and standard of teaching and research through programs for setting up centers of advanced study and research improvement in college teaching, strengthening research and infrastructure, etc. Always it has been emphasized on the research in the colleges. In the NEP 2020 also it has divided the college institutions into three categories. One will be meant for research, another will be research and teaching, another will be only teaching. आपण को कैटेगरी रे जिबे आपण बहुत रिसर्च एंड टीचिंग करिवे आपण इंस्टीट्यूशन रे ना आपण खाली टीचिंग करिवे ना आपण खाली रिसर्च करिवे ए टाइप रो तीन टाइप रो कैटेगरी रे से रखि छै इंस्टीट्यूशन मानकू नेक्स्ट फंक्शन कोन ना नेक्स्ट तार इनिशिएटिव थिला पीरियोडिक रिव्यू एंड रिन्यूअल ऑफ करिकुलर कंटेंट of courses in various disciplines and special scheme for introduction of emerging areas of education and training. एतला पीरियोडिक रिव्यू होबो सेतरे रिन्यूअल ऑफ करिकुलर कंटेंट को रिन्यूअल करा जिवो से ऊपर पीरियोडिक रिव्यू करिवो UGC एबे तळे नुवा आसिला आपनकर लर्निंग आउटकम पळे आसिला लर्निंग आउटकम ऊपर मध्ये UGC तार रिव्यू करिकि से तार बाहर कला गाइडलाइंस व्हाट विल बी द लर्निंग आउटकम NEP 2020 जो मॉडिफिकेशन जोड़ा आसिला ताको मध्ये रिव्यू करिकि से इनिशिएटिव मध्ये UGC एबे नउची एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ कॉमन फैसिलिटीज for research networking of resources for information and documentation एबे रिसर्च पाई मध्ये अधिका फंडिंग केमते आसीबो मोर इनिशिएटिव माने मोर इंसेंटिव मिलिबो जो माने रिसर्च करिवे ता पाई मध्ये वैरायटीज ऑफ स्कीम लॉन्च कराइछि इंडक्शन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया इन हायर एजुकेशन रे वर्तमान तो डिजिटल जुग रे कोन गलानी ना ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଇଲେକ୍ଟ୍ରୋନିକ୍ ମିଡ଼ିଆ ଅଲରେଡ଼ି ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେଟେଡ୍ ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କରିକି ସ୍କୁଲ ଭଳିଆ ଏଠି ସ୍ମାର୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସରୁମ୍ ମଧ୍ୟ ସବୁରେ ପ୍ରାୟତଃ ହବା ପାଇଁ ସେଠୁ ଫଣ୍ଡିଂ ସେ ଦେଇଦେଉଛି ପ୍ରୋଭିଜନ ଅଫ୍ ସ୍କଲାରସିପ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଫେଲୋସିପ୍ ଟୁ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ସେଟା ଦିଆହେଉଛି ଲଞ୍ଚିଂ ଅଫ୍ ସ୍ପେଶିଆଲ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ୍ସ ଫର୍ ଗ୍ରେଟର ପାର୍ଟିସିପେସନ ଅଫ୍ ଓମେନ୍ डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप एंड वीकर सेक्शन इन द हायर एजुकेशन या ପାଇଁ ସ୍ପେଶିଆଲ ପ୍ରୋଭିଜନ ୟୁଜିସି କରିଛି କେତେ 97 ରୁ 2002 ଯୋଉ ଚାଲିଲା 9th ପ୍ଲାନ ପିରିୟड ଥିଲା ଯୋଉ ଆଗରୁ 5 ଇୟର ପ୍ଲାନ କରା ହଉଥିଲା ସେ 5 ଇୟର ପ୍ଲାନ ର 9th ପ୍ଲାନ ପିରିୟड ଟା ଥିଲା ଆପଣଙ୍କର 97 ରୁ 2002 ଭିତରେ ସେଇ ଟାଇମ ରେ ସେ କଣ କଲା ନା से भेराइटीज ऑफ इनिशिएटिव्स जेमती वुमेन मानकर पार्टिसिपेशन पे भेराइटीज ऑफ इनिशिएटिव्स निया आइतला डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप वीकर सेक्शन एमानकर पार्टिसिपेशन को एनहांस करवाटा यार मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव थिला The universities and colleges can utilize the developmental assistance being provided by UGC for consolidation of existing infrastructure, for modernization and for extension and outreach activities. से मूलरू extension and outreach activity ପାଇଁ funding UGC ଦେଇ ଆସୁଛି 9th plan period ରେ ଏସବୁ ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ରଖା ହେଇଥିଲା କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ରଖା ହେଇଥିଲା 9th plan ରେ ତିନିଟା ମେନ୍ କଥା ରଖା ହେଇଥିଲା ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା existing infrastructure କୁ improve କର सेकेंड थिला मॉडर्नाइजेशन ପାଇଁ जो जो एस्पेक्ट गुडा को हम ऐड करि परिबा यूनिवर्सिटी बा कॉलेज रे ताकू ऐड करिया ପାଇଁ फंडिंग दिया आइतला आउ एक्सटेंशन एंड आउटरीच एक्टिविटी करि परिबा जोटा हमें वर्तमान कम्युनिटी एक्टिविटी भीतर भी नउचु एक्सटेंशन एंड आउटरीच एक्टिविटी टू मीट द चेंजिंग नीड्स एंड चैलेंजेस ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन जोटा कहला से वुमेन आउ डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ହେଇଥିଲା ଯେମିତି वुमेन ମାନଙ୍କର ଯେମିତି ପଢିପାରିବେ ସେମାନେ କଲେଜ ରେ ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଏଇ ଭଳିଆ ଦିଆ ହଉଥିଲା ଯଦି କିଏ ମେରିଡ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ फंडिंग आसुला जे एठी डे केयर सेंटर करा जो जेता छुआ पिलांको छाडी के मध्ये ସେମାନେ पाठ पढि परिबे से टाइप रो प्रोविजन मध्ये रखा हैतला एठी The UGC has been implementing the programs of career orientation to education, vocationalization of education since 1994 and 95. Also, it supports the universities financially to meet the cost of innovative programs in new and emerging fields. Some of the area, environmental energy, biotechnology, electronics, etc., atmospheric science, remote sensing, GIS, superconductivity, computer application. Like this, some innovative areas also has been created by the UGC, and this program is also financially supported by the UGC. During 9th plan, the program of adult continuing education, extension, field and outreach, adult program of the university, extension activity agar kortala. So financial assistance has been provided to 85 universities during 9th plan period for implementing programs such as literacy, post-literacy, continuing education, environmental education, legal literacy, technology transfer, etc. The UGC has been providing financial assistance since 1986, that means after implementation of NEP 86 for setting up study centers or cells for women's studies. एठी मध्ये emphasis आसिला 1986 रे तमरा women studies by cells for women studies which undertake research, develop curricula and organize training and extension work in the areas of gender equity, academic self-reliance of women, girls education जोटा कहली से फंडिंग आस्तला सेठी इवन ताकर जदी कि मैरिड पर्सन अछन ताकर छुआ पिला अछन ताल सेमानको पई मध्ये डे केयर व्यवस्था से टाइप रो मध्ये दिया आइतला गर्ल्स एजुकेशन पई एंड पॉपुलेशन इश्यूज ऑफ वुमेन राइट्स सोशल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन etc. At the end of the 9th plan, 34 women study center in various universities are in operation. The UGC has also requested the Indian universities to set up permanent cell in each university for combating sexual harassment of women in the university campus as per the direction of the Supreme Court of India. It is also there. It also exists now also. So then next body is your AICT. All India Council for Teacher Education. It was established in 1948. It was a statutory body. So it was an advisory body to assist the central government in the planning and development of technical education at the post-secondary level. So technical after secondary level, the technical education को किए support करिवो ना AICT होची से advisory body. तेणु emerging education in engineering, technology, architecture, management, all these pharmacy, all these comes under the AICT. So in 1988, the AICT was constituted as a statutory body under the Act of Parliament. The major function यार कौन थिला ना the planned and coordinated development of technical education in the country. The AICT coordinates, supports the development of engineering colleges, management education institutions, and polytechnics engaged in the training of technicians. Development support is provided by the AICT to universities through the UGC. UGC through रे ही support दबो याको university manku and engineering colleges and polytechnics for their expansion as also for improvement in their quality and standard. Among the major programs supported by AICT and review and renewal of curriculum of the education and training of engineers and technicians, and its modernization of laboratories and workshop, removal of obsolescence, establishment of community polytechnic, technology forecasting, manpower planning, training of teachers, preparation of norms of standards for program of education and training in various disciplines at different level, and extending the benefits of technical and training to the backward and rural areas. यार मध्य सही type of function से करिवो AICT. So some self-financing courses are also there. So self-financing institution in private sector which do not depend on government grant but recover their cost from the student in the form of fees, and that was known as the capitation fee, and they maintain their own courses. So this is all about the AICT composition and its function. The next body is your NCT. National Council for Teacher Education NCT. It was established in 1973 by government resolution as a national expert body to advise central and state government on all matters pertaining to teacher education. यार specific function थिला ये teacher से जेमती रहला technical engineering education ପାଇଁ AICT advisory body ये रहितला first रे 1973 रे ये थिला teacher education ପାଇଁ advisory body. The council was made a statutory body by the Act of Parliament 1993 रे जाइकी ये statutory body आको मध्य कर दिया गला. Statutory body ये मध्य law act को directly apply कर परिबो. The primary function of council is to ensure planned and coordinated development of teacher education and determination maintenance of its standards. For the performance of this function, the council lays down norms for specified categories and for granting recognition to teacher training program. So these were the main function. It will lay down the norms for specified categories of courses, and it will grant recognition to teacher training program, teacher education programs. So this is the NCT. The next body is your ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. So ICAR or Indian Council of Agricultural Research was established through a government resolution for promotion of agricultural education and research in the country, and the council functions under the supervision of Ministry of Agriculture, and a number of research institutions and agricultural universities have been set up in the country, and ICAR provide funds to these institutions for their development. Then next is your open university system. Your favorite system is there, open university system, IGNO. And the country has also developed the open university system, IGNO, and it is set up in 1985, and it has nationwide jurisdiction in the field of distance education. A distance education council has been established as a statutory authority. ये मध्य ଗୋଟେ statutory authority रे distance education council ଗୋଟେ statutory authority ये कौन करथिला ना under the IGNO Act distance education council formation କରାଯାଇଥିଲା which provide development fund placed at the disposal by the central government. The Open University network was established common pool of program consisting of contribution from different open universities which can be shared by any open university through the process of adoption, adaptation and transmission. Then IGNO has received international attention and recognition, and Commonwealth of Learning has recently conferred the status of excellence in distance education on the IGNO. Just a minute, wait. Yes. The next is your arrangement of higher education in states. So the administrative arrangement are more or less same as those of 1947 ରେ ଯାହା ଥିଲା ସେଇଭଳିଆ administrative arrangement ଆମେ ରଖିଛୁ ଏପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ. The format basically remains but some of the details has been modified. Every state has a directorate of public instruction DPI जोटाको ଆମେ କହିଲେ directorate of public instruction owing to large scale expansion. However, some of the states have DPI each for primary education, secondary education, college education ସବୁ ପାଇଁ directorate of public instruction जोटा को DPI कहूँ से भाया पैटर्न सब स्टेट रे प्रायतः अच्छी. The most states have directors technical education heading separate department मध्य technical education रो directorate अच्छी. तो हमर जिते गुड़ाक डिपार्टमेंट देखुछ सब डिपार्टमेंट रो डायरेक्टर प्रायतः अच्छी. केते गुड़ाक डिपार्टमेंट को छाड़ देले जेमति मेडिकल एजुकेशन से ताकू छाड़ देले बाकी समस्त से director through रे ही act करंती. Directorate might be handled by the state minister of education or by separate minister. The directorate of technical education in addition to college level institution also look after ITI जते रोला ताकर directorate जे जार directorate से तारो department को देखिबे headed by a minister. Medical education is a separate department and is usually looked after by the minister of health. Medical education टाको directly केवल minister of health देखंती बाकी नने सबरे directorate अछि. In some of the states there is also director of medical education and ताकर head is के ना ताकर secretary होचे ताकर head. तो secretary of health is the head of medical education itself. So in case of agricultural education रे भी secretary of agriculture हेले तांकर head. So any state बहुत कम स्टेट थिबो जोतरे कि डायरेक्टर माने कामटा देखंती. नॉन जनरली मेडिकल एजुकेशन आउ तुमरो एग्रीकल्चरल सेक्टर टारे सेक्रेटरी माने को हेड बाकी सबरे डायरेक्टर माने डायरेक्टरेट माने थ्रू रे एटा फंक्शन करे. तापर नेक्स्ट आसला तुमरो ये होची अरेंजमेंट ऑफ स्टेट रो अरेंजमेंट ए भला आइची गोटे कंट्रोल सिस्टम जो डेवलप कराइची. से कंट्रोल सिस्टम रे सेक्रेटेरिएट अच्छी कोटी कोटी डायरेक्टर सेक्रेटरी और डायरेक्टर अंडर रे सब डिपार्टमेंट फंक्शन करते. तापर आसला हम नेक्स्ट होची MHRD मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स एंड डेवलपमेंट जोटार नाम वर्तमान परिवर्तन होइछि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन. सो एट सेंट्रल लेवल न्यू कांसेप्ट ऑफ आसला 1985 रु 5 रे आसला ताको मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट बोली कहउतला. The Ministry of Human Resource and Development looks after the welfare of women and children and also sports. ये मतलब ता अंडर थिला. Education is not a ministry. It is a department of Ministry of Human Resource Development. At the state level, no such corresponding change has been made. In consequence, different sector of education are handled by different agency, and the apex body or the National Commission for Higher Education when it is established might be able to do something national এটা ଗୋଟେ establish जो हबार थिला से समय रे कोन ना तापर state council of higher education have also been visualized in NP in 86 ର policy जोटा थिला national policy in education NP or NEP बोली ता कहतलु state council of higher education have also been visualized there and some states have come forward to set up the such bodies माने होची से जो state council of higher education किछि state माने establish करथिले and it that state council of higher education plan and support higher education and to assist UGC in coordination and determination of standards ସେଥିପାଇଁ state council ମାନେ establish करथिले किछि state रे थिला किछि state रे सेटा को नथिला ये होची हायर एजुकेशन रो अरेंजमेंट कथा हम कहले एनईपी 2020 रे ये चेंज हेची बोली कहली तापर आसला मिनिस्ट्री ए जो एनईपी 2020 रे चेंज हला मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन हला से मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन रो मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव कोन कोन अछि वर्तमान प्रेजेंट कथा ना इट विल फॉर्मुलेट the national policy on education and to ensure it is implemented in the in full spirit planned development including expanding access and improving quality of the educational institutions throughout the country including regions where people do not have easy access to education then paying special attention to disadvantaged groups like poor females and minorities then provide financial help in the form of scholarship loan subsidy etc to deserving students from deprived section then encouraging international cooperation in the field of education ये सब मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन रो फंक्शन रहिला तापर पॉलिसी इनिशिएटिव्स कौन कौन अच्छी से गुड़ा टिके डिस्कशन प्लान एंड नॉन प्लान ग्रांट कौन से ताको टिके डिस्कशन करबा अच्छी पर अच्छी तो पॉलिसी इनिशिएटिव कौन है जे ना बिल्डिंग अपॉन द एग्जिस्टिंग कैपेसिटीज एंड रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द इमेंस कंट्रीब्यूशन to nation building that the large network of educational institutions has made in the post-independent India. The country has embarked upon a second phase of expansion and establishment center of excellence in higher education. It is envisioned the strengthening of two ends of the spectrum, elementary and higher education, would help to meeting objective of expansion, inclusion, excellence in education. So these were the policy initiatives taken for excellence in higher education. तो इटा केब आगुरु थिला केब होची हाईएस्ट एडवाइजरी बॉडी कोन पाई ना टू एडवाइज सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट इन द फील्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन recent years have been certain important committee and commission deliberate on education ता भितरे आपनकर आसीबो नॉलेज नेशनल नॉलेज कमिशन 2006 एनकेसी जोटा कहूछु रिपोर्ट ऑन हायर एजुकेशन सपोर्ट ए स्ट्रांग रिफॉर्म एजेंडा थ्रू पब्लिक इन्वेस्टमेंट Recently, the report of the Committee on Renovation and Rejuvenation of Higher Education, YESPAL Committee, has recommended protecting intellectual autonomy of educational institutions and creation of all-encompassing National Commission for Higher Education and Research, NCHR, to replace the existing regulatory bodies. So, these were the policy initiative. The report talks about the concept of university as a place where research and teaching become two important pillars of creation of knowledge and should go together. सबु जेते policy हमें देखिले historical perspective जो कथा हमें कहले historical perspective रो हमें देखि आसले जे research and knowledge these two things are the center these two are the central word for the higher education research and knowledge creation ये मध्य नवा policy initiative जहाँ देखिले से मध्य से कथा कहला जे research and teaching become two important pillars of creation of knowledge then most importantly university should allow for the diverse growth of knowledge and should not lead to fragmentation of knowledge so it is recommended that normally no single discipline or specialized university should be created ସେଥିପାଇଁ multidisciplinary କଥା କୁହାଗଲା ସବୁ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ରେ multidisciplinary single specialized university ଖୋଲା ହବନି the government has already initiated steps in the direction of implementing some of the recommendation रे गवर्नमेंट म्हणजे प्रोसीड करछि तार एक्शन प्लान से सार्थक डॉक्यूमेंट रे देखिबे आपण माने एतरे से एक्शन प्लान मध्ये क्रिएट करके रखि छै हाउ टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस then plan and non plan grants थारु हमें नेक्स्ट क्लास रे डिस्कशन करिबा ओके